Hey, welcome everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the weekly VS Code live stream. And there's no other way to say it. This week is a doozy because it's a release party and it's the first release of the year, which I believe means that it has 2 months worth of updates in it as opposed to the usual 1 month worth of updates. So this is like Christmas after Christmas or Boxing Day after Boxing Day or fill in the blank with whatever holiday you have on which you receive a lot of presents. All right, perfect. So the usual stuff, right? Subscribe on YouTube, please. That helps us, and we'd love to connect with you there. What else do we usually talk about? TikTok, right? Are you on TikTok yet? You want to be there. I mean, you've got nothing else to do. Those 3 hours of your life that you might spend being productive, don't do that. Spend them on TikTok. And then our meetup group. Join us there because we've got some stuff coming up. Actually, we've got some big announcements coming up pretty soon in regards to some stuff we're doing. So you're going to want to join that for sure. And I think it's awesome that we've had this meetup group for this long. And that's the best URL we can give people is this giant. We haven't shortened it at all for you. We've done you no favors. Just type all of that in. What's up, chat? How are you? How are you today? How is everybody? Do the videos from TikTok end up, what did I say? TikTok end up on here? Yes. No, not yet. Maybe we should though. That'd be fun. Israel is in the house. What's up, Gamer Planet? Good to see you here. Denmark. How's it going? What's up, India? Taiwan? Jeez. All over the place. It's the middle of the night. Y'all know you can watch this on a recording, right? And get a good night's sleep, wake up fresh, go for a 5-mile run or a 5-kilometer run. I have no idea how many miles that is. It's like three and some change. Is that right? My math is bad, chat. So quick fact here. I've got my Kermit the Frog pen on, which somebody gave me. Actually, my friend Jay, he runs a show called Azure Fun Bites, which if you're into Azure, you should check that out. But what happened this morning was it's raining here, and I've got 2 dogs, and those dogs do not like to go outside and use the bathroom in the rain. They prefer to use my office. And like an idiot, I left the door open last night. And so the rug is gone now. And also they peed on my backpack, and I had to take everything out, and I found this pen and I decided to put it on, although I'm not exactly sure what this meme means. I think it means he's drinking his tea. He doesn't care. He's just drinking tea. Did I have that right? What is Kermit the Frog? Kermit the Frog is a puppet. He's a Muppet from a show here in the US. I thought it was maybe like a global thing, but maybe not. All right, we've got a great release. I know you're already sick of hearing me talk about my dogs and my pen. How do I pronounce my name? It's Burke. Just Burke. It's a hard K. I think it's a Welsh name, but I feel like I just made that up on the spot. I don't really know. What's up, Lincoln, Nebraska? How's it going? Sounds cold. Your chat message sounds cold. Yeah. All right, so let's get right into it because we've got a lot to do today. Again, we got 2 months of updates. Better be good, right? Right? Okay, so let's get right to it. To do that, we're going to welcome to the stream for the 3rd time, the 4th time, Steven. Now, Steven is an interesting fellow, not just because he's been on the stream so many times, but also because the V in his name is capitalized, just right in the middle, which you just don't see that all the time.
I feel like I need to put this as like off-limits topic on any live media, so I don't have to explain myself.
Do you have to do it again and again?
Well, it's not. The explanation isn't fun, you know. I did it in elementary school, so people would stop spelling with a PH, and it stuck.
There's a story once where somebody said they went to Starbucks and they said, "What's your name?" And they said Steven with a PH. And then when they actually got their coffee, they were like, "Coffee for Steven?" They put the PH at the front.
It's never happened to me, luckily.
Awesome. All right,
Don't have
Steven,
PH, though.
we are New sidebar. So there's a new sidebar, which sounds exciting in and of itself.
Let's say
Panels,
side
layout.
panel. So
Yeah.
that I'll cover terminology just for everyone so that we have the names consistent. But yeah, new side panel and some layout stuff. So actually my demo, hopefully, hold on, let me share my screen here
Yeah.
so
Let's
that
get into it.
it can actually be broadcasted. There we go. And let me know if it's good.
I can add your, let me see. I think I can. Oh, she's got it. Thank you, Senna.
And is the zoom level good for?
No, it is not. You need to zoom in like 3 more times. There we go.
Okay,
Is that
this is
good for you,
good.
chat? It's never zoomed in
The
enough for chat.
text on the screen isn't that important. This is
Okay.
one of those demos in VS Code where the code doesn't matter uh, at all. So this is all layout stuff. So okay, last time I was here, I talked about this actual feature, but it was only in insiders, wasn't available to everybody. And so this milestone, it will be available to everybody in the stable release, and it won't be behind any gates. You'll just get it, and that's great. So I'm excited for that. And the time before that I was on here, I was talking about like the predecessor to this, which was being able to move things around. So all of this is coming together, and this is the next iteration in that. So yeah, terminology. This thing over here, where Explorer is called the sidebar. And the new thing, you might it's called a new sidebar, but in order to have a different name so that we can have commands with different names, we're calling it the side panel because it is on the side and it actually functions more like what this thing down here where the terminal is. It's called the panel. And it functions like this one because this has tabs, whereas this has a separate set of icons. This actually new side panel also has tabs, but you can't see it yet because there are no views in it. So how do you get there? So this thing that's outlined is called a view. And let's say the most popular feature request that is on my plate and is now closed is being able to move this outline over to the right. But in the default layout, you might have flipped your layout, but anyway, move it away from Explorer into something else. So I've just clicked and dragged. Hopefully you can see that interaction going on in the cast, but I'm dragging it over. And then as soon as I got to the side of the editor, it popped open the new side panel and I can drop it there. And now look, I have outline on the right and I'm able to actually switch between these view containers over here in the sidebar. And it doesn't affect this outline. So I can have a static set of views over here that apply like common scenarios, like you want, outline, maybe timeline, file specific views over on the right and them to be fixed while you are able to actually move between SCM, search, and Explorer on the left. And again, you can flip your layout and have these on opposite sides of each other. So that's like the basic thing there, and that's what the side panel can do. If you actually watched me on the first time here, you saw me move a bunch of views into the panel. Everything that you could do there is actually possible in the side panel as well. So let me show another example of something you might do. You might say, I really want search over on the right, and instead of dragging, this view here, I can actually drag the whole container and put it over here. And now I've got both of these, and these icons show up. And we use the icons because this is a compact space, and we're kind of going horizontally. So that's why we're using those there. But you have a little tooltip hover to indicate which ones they are, just like you would over here. So now I've got two views there. So that's pretty cool. And I can even do, let's say I didn't like that, and instead I wanted, actually, no, I'll do this one now. I don't have timeline or anything because of I didn't actually create a repository for this. But if I drag search, I can actually bring it into this view, and we can just stack them. So we can see both of them at once. So that's just like the sidebar. You're able to stack views in the panel where you can stack them horizontally. You can do that over here as well. So it functions exactly the same as all the other ones. That's the idea, except for it's, on the opposite side and gives you a third service to do things with. So that's drag and drop. And now that we're here, we actually have 3 panels, and we decided that since we have a bottom panel and a side panel, that old behavior of moving the bottom panel left and right is a little redundant. So we could try to simplify things a bit here and just make this bottom panel the panel. And that enabled us to do something like this. Getting a little bit ahead of the demo here because I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it through commands, through the command palette like a pro. We have this other new feature called set panel alignment, or panel alignment in general. And this is actually another top feature request that's been around for a long time, that's been on my plate, where this panel is kind of constrained, especially with the new side panel. It looks like, it's kind of stuck in the center and compact, and maybe you've got a wide terminal that you really want to see. So we have these new panel alignment options, and I'll start with the one that a lot of people asked for originally because we didn't have like this concept of two side things. So justify is full width. You get that terminology from text alignment. But you got a full width panel here, and so if you have your terminal open and it goes super long, this is my custom command for getting an error.
That's quite the API.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one option, but we have multiple options here. I created a new workspace, or new profile, so this is gonna give me a bunch of pop-ups sometimes. Okay, so justify center, and what do left and right do? They might not be super obvious immediately, but when I put left here, you can see it kind of aligns it to the left and lets the right bar here, or right side panel, to extend full height, and obviously, hopefully, set panel alignment to right does the opposite. And if you have this and you decide to flip your layout, say you toggle the sidebar position, the alignment stays the same. So the alignment is based on, position left to right, not based on what is on the right or left. So you can align it to the left in this case if you actually wanted your side panel to be short and your sidebar to be tall. So that's panel alignment. I have one last thing to cover. Hopefully I'm doing well on time here. I think I've just a minute or two.
You have 2 minutes, and awesome. I will cut you off.
Okay, great. So the last one here is, I've shown kind of two new layout controls that, we're adding to the capabilities of the layout here. And maybe it's getting a little confusing for users because there's a lot you can do and they don't know about it. So it's hard to discover. So we were exploring different ways we can make this discoverable. So I showed how drag and drop can show the side panel. Another option is to, click this new icon that we're experimenting with. So it is an experiment, but most people will be opted into it. If you aren't opted into it, there's a setting, should be layout control. Some reason it's not the first one. Okay, anyway, layout control, and you can see it says overridden by experiment. So default for me, because I'm opted into the experiment, is enabled, but you can just check this box if you don't have it, and it'll pop up on the right there. When you click it in the top right, you get this little menu, and it's another way to toggle these panels, bars, however you want to describe them, but there's another way to toggle those. But we've also added this new button, or new entry command that you can get to from the command palette or this menu, which is the customized layout menu. And this is a interactive quick pick for kind of all things layout. It's a faster way to get into all of the things that you're able to customize. So, maybe you don't like the menu bar up there, you like it over on the right. This is a way to toggle its visibility. And you can see it, I click it, you can't tell I'm clicking, but I'm clicking, and the menu bar just disappears from up here and then goes to the other position, and the quick pick stays there. So I can do that for anything. So activity bar, sidebar, I'm toggling behind the scenes here, panel, side panel, status bar. Very nice. Another thing you can do is you can toggle the sidebar position. People will probably know this, but there you go. You can do it. And you can see actually the icons reflect the current state. So the activity bar moved to the right when I move this to the right, and then move to the left when I move it to the left. So should be intuitive from an icon perspective. And then the panel alignment is here. Another way to do the panel alignment without, I actually need to make that scroll position better. But yeah, you can quickly change these right from here. And then the last one, set of options here are the full screen, Zen mode, centered layout. Those can also be quickly toggled from here. So this is a good way. Please give us feedback on this because this is experimental and we're deciding on how we want to use it going forward. Both the customized layout command and the icon up here.
Is there a keyboard shortcut for that customized layout panel?
For the customized layout panel, there's no keyboard shortcut by default, but as all commands exist, in the keyboard shortcuts menu, you can actually search for customize layout here and add your own key binding if you'd like to do that. And the same
Well,
for the side panel. If you want to toggle the side panel, you could do that here. Add a key binding for it.
well, that's awesome. The editor is completely customizable. I feel like there's so much more room for activities, right? To use a reference. What's that with Step Brothers? That Step Brothers movie where they put their bunk beds on top of each other. That's how I feel right now. Like I'm just thinking about all the stuff I can put in that sidebar. Connie says this is very cool, Steven, accentuating the V, which we appreciate. MW, cool thing, just upgraded to a 4K screen. So yeah, chat, here's what I want to know. Not that we all have 4K screens. I don't. I wish I did. What are you going to put in the sidebar? That's what I want to know. You put anything over there, what are you going to put in this new space?
Yeah, so actually what I do, my layout is the source control viewlet. I move this over here. I don't actually use outline a ton. Sorry, people who like it a lot. I use source control here, and the GitHub extension goes there. So pretty much source control related things. I put those two there. I like them. It's kind of out of the way most of the time. I don't have it on, and then I just quickly toggle it out. I see source control right there. It doesn't mess with my search or my Explorer or my panel or anything. So that's what I'm using it for right now. But I think another common scenario people are drawn to is the outline, timeline, things that are specific to the file you have focused, so that it can change kind of an update as you click around, and then stuff over here can kind of stay static based on what you're doing, like you're searching or you're debugging or things like that, and it doesn't affect your file specific items.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, Tomas says source control. What else we got here? Can you change the color of the sidebar?
So right now the theme keys are linked to the side. Okay, so sorry, we got to say side panel. This is the side panel. The theme keys for the side panel are linked to the theme keys from the sidebar, but and that's just because we're kind of using the same styling. We are open. I think we have a feature request open for adding theme keys for the side panel specifically. I believe they will default to the sidebar if the theme doesn't specify if we go that route.
Very nice, very nice. All right, well, chat, we're going to say goodbye to Steven, and that's with a V. Please don't forget that, y'all. And thank you, Steven, for working so hard on these features. I am excited to mess around with this. Oh, one last question. It does seem like you can mess up your UI pretty easily. Is there like a reset to just undo everything that you just did?
Yeah, quickly, there are two ways to do this. One, if you just want to get like something's in a place you don't like it and it's not the normal place, you can right click its header here and click reset location. You can see it just pop back to its default location. The other option is open the command palette, type reset view locations, or reset locations should get you there. Press enter, and everything goes back to normal.
Very nice. All right, chat. Give Steven a round of thanks if you would. Thank you for being with us, Steven.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Next up, we've got some preview stuff to show y'all. So, full disclosure, this is preview, and so, but doesn't mean anything in the sense that we're not trying to say anything or pontificate about the future. That's literally in the notes. I'm supposed to say that. I don't know why, but I'd like to bring on Tyler. Tyler's thumbnail says devices not connected with a giant error.
We're gonna have Matt go next.
Matt's gonna go next. All right. Okay. So let's just rewind all that back. Welcome Matt to the stream. What is up, Matt?
Morning, Burke.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about Markdown link completions today. So just
First,
as a quick, yeah.
Before we get into that, can we talk about your video setup? Because I feel like it's the best I've seen from anyone so far on the stream. What
I'm using to with the webcam and everything?
Yeah, it just looks great, man. Like, is that a DSLR? What are you doing here?
No, it's just like a fancy webcam, I guess, and have the light on and everything. So I don't. Nothing too extravagant.
Well, it looks nice. I like it a lot. Let's talk about Markdown Path IntelliSense.
Yeah. So this is actually inspired by something that we've had in the editor for quite a while for HTML and CSS files. I'm going to start sharing my screen here and let's make sure I get the right screen. And can you see the
Sorry,
editor?
I clicked it. You clicked. Yeah, you're up.
All right. So this is inspired by a feature we've had in HTML and CSS, and it's going to help you fill out paths when you're writing images or links in Markdown files. So let's say I was in my Markdown file here, and I'm needing a link. And in this case, I want to link to another file in my current workspace. I can just type // and you can see that now VS Code is going and suggesting all of the files next to this one. So here's my current file over in the Explorer. And if we kind of look through this list, you can see all the files being suggested here. Now, let's say I actually was wanting to go and find an image in this case. I can actually browse to this directory, hit enter, and now I'm seeing all of the image directories here. I could go to the JavaScript directory, go and select the image that I'm after. And now I have a nice image that I've gone and imported. So it's very easy now to go and import things or have this reference to an image or go in reference to another file using these path completions. Now, if I go back here, there's a few other forms of the path completions I can do as well. So let's say that I instead wanted to link to somewhere in the top level of my workspace. For that, I can just type /, and now instead of going to the current directory, it's actually going to go up to the top level of the workspace. And again, I can just browse through, find what I'm after, and link to the individual file, and just browse through directories like that. So again, I'm able to very quickly create these links, and they're also clickable links as well. So I can go and click on these, open up those links, and those links also work in the preview. Now, a few other forms to highlight here. So in Markdown, you might want to link to another section of the current document, so that you can easily do that just by typing the # here. And you can now see that it's going and showing all of the headers in the current document. And it's showing these in a form that would actually work properly inside the links. So I can find whatever header section here I want. And now I've created a link to that section of the document. Again, I can just click on that to go and confirm it is linking to that section of the document. And this even works when you're going to other Markdown files. So let's say I was going to the C++ Markdown file here. I could just type the # here, and I could go and link to another section of that file. So here I've created a link to the C++ Markdown file, and it's going to link to a specific header within there. So if I click over here, it should go to that specific header that I linked to before. So the check min GW installation, and sure enough, that was the header that I was creating before. One final thing to demonstrate here is that you can have reference links in Markdown. So here I've defined a reference or saying that whenever we see this link, it should go to example.com. And of course, you also now get IntelliSense for those. So if I go and I actually trigger IntelliSense here for ref, you can see that ref is suggested as my reference link. Now, in this case, I did have to manually trigger IntelliSense because quick suggestions are off by default in Markdown. So if you're typing a dot or a /, the suggestions will just start showing up automatically. But in this case, I triggered it with control space. You can always use that as well to re-trigger the suggestion. So again, I was just typing control space here, and that's how I was able to get these suggestions in this case. But most of the time, they should automatically trigger if you're using a path. So that's just a quick look at some of these Markdown path completions. I think it really speeds things up, and it makes writing documentation and that type of thing a whole lot easier.
So I just want to be completely honest with you, chat, and say I've been writing Markdown for a decade at least. I have no idea what a reference link is.
I don't know if that's the right term. there might be something else.
What is that? How does that, is that something like you put at the top and then you just, how does that work?
So typically, so this is the text that's going to be displayed when it's actually rendered. Typically at the end of the document, you'd have a set of these definitions, and then you're just going to reference them. And that's nice because then you can go and update the link here. So I could go and make this an HTTPS link, for example, and then all of the various cases of that link throughout your document would be updated, and you wouldn't have to go and replace each one individually.
So what's the syntax you use? Is it that? So
yeah. So at the end of the document, you're defining all the links. So you use the square brackets. And
so link is the text that shows up, and ref is the actual URL that gets put in the link. Okay.
So here is the rendered Markdown. You can see link is the rendered text. And instead of using parentheses, we're actually using square brackets to tell it that, yes, we're going and wanting to look up this other link definition that we wrote down here. And you can see that it's actually, I can click on this and it will go and jump down to that link definition. So it's providing me with some help as well. And again, they're quite useful for when you need to use a link multiple times and don't want to repeat that same link. It makes it very easy to go and change that link in the future.
Very nice. So I learned that today. I'll be using that. The rest of this, so there's a good question here about. Let me see if I can find it. Doop 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 doop. Here we go. Yeah, that one. Whoops, it was on and then I removed it. What happens if you move the file? Will the link update the relative paths?
No, so we don't provide we don't provide errors or anything if the files if the file you're linking to doesn't exist. So I could go in here and actually this is the wrong syntax. Let's go here. So let's say I was linking to a file like this. We don't actually provide an error or do anything currently. That might be something that we add in the future, but we want to be a little bit careful about not breaking people's like if they're using some syntax that we can't understand or some path style that we can't understand. We want to be a little bit careful about that. And the same with moving files. That's something that we'd be doing automatically, and it could potentially have some unwanted consequences. So we need to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure there's extensions in the marketplace that probably do provide that, though.
Awesome. All right. And then, yeah, let's here. I want to do this just because I think it's amazing. Is just ask you a question that you can't possibly answer, which is, when will this person have access to Copilot, Matt? Put you on the spot.
I don't know. I don't know when they'll have access to Copilot, but I think if you're in the list, they've been opening up the Copilot beta to more and more people. So hopefully you'll get that email and the invite soon.
I'm so sorry, Matt. That was really mean. Let me see, what else can we do here? Pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree. Chat likes the Markdown features. This is really great. I write a lot of Markdown, not so much code anymore, mostly Markdown. So yeah, looking forward to this. I am very much looking forward to this as well.
One other quick thing I can demonstrate is this actually does work inside of notebooks as well. So here I have a Jupyter notebook. And if I go to the Markdown cell, so here I'm editing my Markdown, I can also go and create these links inside of or get the link suggestions or the path suggestions inside of the notebook here. In this case, the notebook itself is at the root of the repository, which is why you're seeing it show up here, but it works the exact same way. And it makes it really easy to go and create these links to other files. Whoops, there we go. So now I created a link. And I can go link over to that other file. So this works in any style of notebook. It shouldn't just be specific to Jupyter notebooks, but I'm using a Jupyter notebook here to demonstrate.
This is such an interesting point, because it's one of the neat things about using notebooks in VS Code is that you get all of the stuff that comes with the editor because you're inside of VS Code. So you get stuff like this just kind of for free whenever it ships, which is cool. Okay, one more question. Let's do a softball one, and then we'll move on. What are today's winning lottery numbers?
Oh, I think there's probably a 42 somewhere in there, but I don't know.
There's definitely a 42.
I don't know. I don't even know how many numbers there would be in the lottery.
There's like 8
5?
or something. I have no idea. All right. Matt, thank you so much. You've been such a great
random function for that.
Yeah, please, somebody write you know what we should do? Ask Copilot. Well, I mean, that one guy can't ask Copilot. He doesn't have access, but for people that have access to Copilot, they can ask Copilot. All right. Thanks, everybody. Everybody say goodbye to Matt. Matt, thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. I think Tyler lives because I've seen his thumbnail, him feverishly cleaning up the background of his set, ready to come on.
That's
What's
right.
up, man?
Can you hear me all right? Everything good?
Yeah, we can.
Good. Yeah, so it's so funny. For this demo, I'm going to be showing my iPad screen a little bit. So I'm like, all right, I need to make sure that I charge my my iPad like last night, right? And so then I wake up today and I'm like going about my business, getting ready and whatnot, and I forgot to charge my laptop, and so that's why I was a little delayed today. So sorry for that.
Can't charge both at once. It's scientifically impossible to charge.
I just, I never thought to do that.
Well, good, because we've already got questions about whether or not we got a VS Code app for the iPad. So let's get right into it, Tyler. You mentioned iPad. Excellent. Now we got to sell it.
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen here. So I wanted to show off the some of the like PWA support that we've been working on. So if you are like me, I use Edge as my daily browser, but sure other browsers have this feature as well. But if you open up, say, insiders.vscode.dev, and the same thing works in stable as well, you'll see this button here. What this will do now, actually, I think for people who haven't installed it yet, they can go to, let me back up for a second and get rid of this guy. I promise it's going to be good.
It'd be worth the wait, folks.
Yeah.
Tyler, we value your privacy.
Thank you. All right. Back here. Let me do a reload here. Okay. So now if you open insiders.vscode.dev, you'll see this icon. This is the one I wanted to point out. This is controlled by whether or not your website is a PWA, which stands for Progressive Web App, in case you're wondering. And what that means is that like some browsers have the ability to like install, quote unquote, an app onto your machine via PWA support. So I can hit this button that says install Visual Studio Code Insider. So I can go ahead and do that. Hit the big install button. And actually what happens is one Finder rudely opens, but this right here is actually the PWA. So this is actually insiders.vscode.dev, the website, but like rendered as if it's an application. You can see it like down here, right? And just for like comparison, this one is actually the real desktop client. So and in both cases, I had turned on setting sync, so my theme and my extensions are all synced, but they look very, very similar. And I know that we've done live streams before talking about the differences between VS Code Dev and like VS Code Desktop, and so I want to call out that the one on the right here is the PWA. It's actually VS Code Dev, so it has the same feature set as VS Code Dev itself. So like the richer language extensions aren't gonna work in that one, but you can quote unquote install it on your machine just as if it looked like the full desktop client. And
yeah, it took me a minute there. I couldn't tell the difference, and then I saw the privacy and cookies. I was like, oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and so that's really nice, and you can go ahead and play around with that if you'd like. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is because of the PWA support here, we can also install it on an iPad as well. So I wanted to show what that looks like as well. And that might be a little bit more exciting than this because you can't naturally install the VS Code desktop client on an iPad. So I'm going to open up QuickTime Player here. This is the pro move that I've found out about recently.
The screen mirroring.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, there's me. Hello. And now if I choose iPad, you will be able to see my iPad screen. Right. So here's my iPad. And this is actually showing Safari. This is actually opened to one of my random GitHub repos where I keep a bunch of doodles in, which I'll show in a brief moment. But so on an iPad, what we could do is we could go over to this one here, and we could do add to home screen. And so if I do that, then that pops up, and I could hit add, and then it shows up here. And you can see I also have the stable one as well. So it looks like an app, just like any other app on my iPad, but it's actually the PWA. And so I can go ahead and open that. And lo and behold, I get that same experience of VS Code Dev, but in my on my iPad. So I can go through my full flow here to sorry, there we go, to log in through remote repositories. Password managers are fantastic, aren't they?
Wait, was that Authenticator?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
But you can just hit it
Autofill.
and it will fill in your. I didn't even know it would do that.
Let me go ahead and do this one too.
Jeez, man.
The jumps I go through to be
Kidding. It's
secure.
like the first Mission Impossible movie where the dude has to go through like 3 chambers and there's like a retinal scan and a
That's
palm
right,
scan
yeah.
and a saliva test.
Oh, I don't remember the saliva test. That's a new one for me.
That one I
Okay.
just made up, but it sounded legit. You failed.
I want to.
Denied. Yeah, it's when Tom Cruise is like hanging from the thing, and if you like drip sweat on the floor, then everything explodes. Or if there's like sound, then he gets found out.
That's
Yo,
right.
Chat, you've seen this movie, haven't you? It's like the most famous spy scene ever. Steven's seen it.
Hang
I
on.
can see him right now. He's like, yeah, I love that movie.
I'm just gonna disconnect here for a second. I think I need the other port of my iPad.
Oh, no. iPads, y'all.
Live demos, am I right?
All right, chat.
Yeah. Let me answer
PWAs
some
are
questions
amazing.
while I log in.
Yeah, so let's see. Will it work on mobile too? What do you mean, like on a phone? I mean, it's a PWA, so I assume you could put it on your iPhone. It would be small, but
Yeah,
can I install VS Code in a Tesla? Yes,
I did see somebody on Twitter do that. Yeah,
somebody did. Yes, and I
that was pretty funny.
swear somebody did it on an Apple Watch. I've seen it on an Apple Watch. I think I pulled it up on my own Apple Watch. Not saying that's a great coding experience, just that you can
Yeah,
do
it
it.
probably isn't, right?
Right. Is this going to work on Android tablets on the Samsung Dex? I've not heard of that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that specific tablet, but in theory, yes.
And dear, yes, Clark, y'all, Clark is back. Everybody say hi to Clark because we miss him. On a refrigerator? Coding on a
Why
refrigerator?
not? Do whatever you'd like.
It's getting out of hand.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Now I can code and drive. Please don't. Please don't. Let's see. I can't show this one because there's some profanity, but it's the guy from the VS Code YouTube channel Shorts. Who, me? Yeah, I'm on there from time to time. On a washing machine? Why not? I don't think washing
Why
machines
not?
have screens on them yet, do they? Look, the important thing here is that your name is Cooked Potato, and I appreciate that. Can you use the terminal on the iPad with VS Code,
There we go.
Tyler? How can I get to the terminal?
So the terminal, since this is using VS Code Dev, there's no actual backing compute, so you don't actually have access to a terminal. Like consider this like the VS Code Dev that you're used to seeing in your browser. So you don't have a terminal in that case, but if you're using, say, like GitHub Codespaces, which you could also technically install as PWA, since that's also using VS Code, then you would have a terminal in that case. So that's nice.
All right, are we back?
But anyway,
have you recovered?
I'm back
Catastrophic error.
from the sign-in flow. Yeah, we have to go through so many jumps, so many hoops. But anyway, so I wanted to end with just showing this really funny extension called TL Draw, which lets you draw right inside of VS Code, which is hilarious because I'm on an iPad, so I could just use the touch screen, and like that works pretty like flawlessly using that. So a primary use case for something like that.
Do you have some other?
I'm not really artistically inclined, so this is what you get. But
look, everybody can usually draw one thing, right? Like I have one thing that I can draw. Chat, do you have one thing that you can draw? Tyler, what's your one thing that you know how to? It's like Homer Simpson or something like that.
Gosh, I had to draw Homer Simpson in the game Telestrations recently. I don't know if you've ever played that game with friends, but it was not pretty. Let me just say that. Yeah, it's like Telephone. You ever play Telephone, but drawing? You get a word and then you draw that. You pass it to the person next to you, and they have to guess what your drawing is, and then you go around the room. Anyway.
All right. Okay.
So anyway, that's it.
That was it.
for
Hey,
me.
listen, worth the wait. Can you do something? So what's up, Mike? Mike Bracco's here. Oops. Is that doxing if I say somebody's actual name? I don't know if it is or not. It's Bracco Dev. Bracco Dev is here. Mike, where does one go to get a VS Code t-shirt? We have like a short link for that.
Do we?
Maybe the producer. There it is. There it is. You can get your own VS Code t-shirt.
VS Code shirt.
Merch
Nice.
is cool.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Draw Clippy. Can you draw Clippy, please?
Oh, geez. I can try.
It's just a paper clip with eyeballs. How hard could it be?
I mean,
Let's see what else. What's up, chat? A stick man. Yeah. A triangle. Yeah.
like
You
this?
could draw a triangle. A lot of people can draw stickman. That's it's
Yeah.
impressive. He's doing it. Wait, hold on. This Clippy's happening. Wait for it. And then we're gonna judge
Okay.
it.
Oh, no. And then can we get the... Hang on. What else do I have at my disposal in these tools?
You're having to do this from memory.
Arrow. I am. Yeah, I don't remember if he was this way or this way, you know?
I think that's right, because the loop looks kind of like the mouth, I think.
Yeah, and then it's like the eyes. Wow, this is beautiful, isn't it? I don't know how to
The
erase
eyes are a little
inside
far
of...
apart. It looks like you're trying to do a drawing. Would you like some
I
help?
just... Yeah. Is it like this? Something like that? There it is. Clippy, folks.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Amazing.
So,
amazing attempt. There's just
yeah.
nothing not to love about that. All
That's
right,
right.
chat. We're having a good time, but all
Yeah.
good things must come to an end. Tyler,
Oh.
thank you so much for
I should mention one thing. I should answer the question of like why you would want to install the PWA over just like using just VS Code Dev in your browser. And one of the most important reasons of this is actually key bindings, because the browser will have some key bindings set. So like a famous one that I always use is the option backtick, which would normally open a terminal, but if you were to do that in a browser, the browser, at least Edge in my case, will just like switch to another tab because it does something when you do option backtick. And so if you install the PWA, all of your key bindings will go to that actual PWA instead. So it's a much smoother experience, similar to what you get out of VS Code Desktop. But yeah, I just wanted to call that out.
What does Control W do in a PWA or Option W?
Yeah. Goodbye, Clippy. Normally, I guess it would close the tab, right? So
yeah,
yeah, that sounds right.
Anyway,
that's it.
There was one more thing I wanted to see on your iPad screen, but it's gone now. It's probably too. Oh, there it is. Can you go back to your home screen for a minute if you're comfortable doing that? If not, you can tell me no. Is that your Git contribution?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got the iPad and I'm like, I want to add some of these widgets, but I don't really have any good examples. So I added the GitHub one there. I actually have it on my phone as well. But that's because my phone screen is so large. So I needed to push the apps down so that I could actually like reach them, you know, because they're like screen's so big. So I put the GitHub thing at the top there so that I can like actually reach my apps. But this was purely aesthetic.
I feel like you can tell a lot by people by like what they have on their iPad home screen, and you've got Messenger, Outlook, Authenticator, To-Dos, Teams.
Yeah,
you're very work oriented.
Right.
Also, you plan apparently on navigating from your home screen, I guess. The Google Maps.
Yes. That's right. Like I said, I just put any widgets that I could find and just threw them on the screen.
All right. Listen, Tyler, thank you so much for persevering through your technical difficulties and showing us all that. That was a lot of fun.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, everybody, if you stuck around this far, we've got a big announcement for y'all. VS Code Day 2022 is happening. It's happening March 3rd. Okay. You're one of the first to find out. We had an entirely new format for y'all this year. We're trying something completely different. I don't think it's going to be like anything you've seen before. We really hope to see you there. You can sign up today. Please get registered today if you could. Helps us know how many servers that we need to take in the Azure data center and set aside to make sure that everybody has the optimum experience. Am I hosting VS Code Day? Currently, that is the plan, but we don't really have, again, it's a format you haven't seen before. So we don't really have a host. I mean, we kind of do, but not really. I can't tell you more than that. So go ahead and get registered. And chat, you're the best. It's been awesome spending time with you this morning. And we will see you back here next Thursday for the next VS Code live stream. All right, that's it. See you then.